This is WJZ, all local news at 6.
Recovery efforts, of course, only just beginning 2 days after the horrific collapse of the historic Francis Scott Key Bridge. Tonight, Governor Moore announcing that the state has requested an initial $60 million in emergency relief funding from the federal government. That money would help support crews now working to remove that debris to get the Port of Baltimore back open and, of course, to recover the bodies of the remaining 4 victims believed to be trapped under that wreckage. Now, of the 6 victims, only 2 have been found by divers. Maryland State Police identifying the man as 35-year-old Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes and 26-year-old Dorlian Castillo Cabrera. Among the missing, Maynor Yasir Suavo Sandoval, Miguel Luna, and 2 other workers whose names have not yet been released. WJZ remaining in your corner with live team coverage tonight. Alex Glaze spoke to the construction company who employed those men. But we're going to begin with WJZ investigator Mike Helgren at the foot of where that bridge once stood. Mike.
Denise, heavy equipment, including a crane to help clear the debris, is now on the scene as part of the salvage operation as people from across the country are remembering the victims, and we're expecting an update from state and federal officials just minutes from now. As the monumental task of removal gets underway, leaking containers, some with hazardous chemicals, and parts of the steel structure of the Francis Scott Key Bridge remain precariously perched on the bow of the Dolly, the massive cargo ship stranded in the Patapsco River since it lost power and slammed into the bridge 2 days ago.
It's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, and very dangerous to place people on the bow of that boat right now with the sea containers as tight as they are and the way they've shifted.
4 victims are still believed to be encased in debris deep underwater.
Let us join together in a moment of silence for those who lost their lives in the tragedy at the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
A pause today to remember the lives of 6 construction workers, fathers, husbands, sons, lost in the tragedy. Chilling traffic camera video shows the final vehicles entering the Key Bridge before the collapse as the crew's emergency signs flash in the distance.
We are going to have another reopening day, and that will be the reopening of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. And you can bet on that.
The state asked the federal government for an initial $60 million to pay for the first steps of debris removal, the down payment for a disaster that could ultimately cost billions.
You don't want this sort of thing ever happening again, and with a ship that's the length of 3 football fields with 4,000 containers and weighing 95,000 pounds. That was an accident waiting to happen.
Investigators with the National Transportation Safety Board remain on scene, interviewing the pilots and continuing to collect crucial evidence.
There are still divers down in proximity of the bridge. Please navigate with caution.
Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott was among the leaders meeting with the Coast Guard to discuss the next steps and get the Port of Baltimore open again.
The operation now switched to trying to deal with getting that channel clear as quickly but as safely as possible.
Now, the 3 police officers who were able to quickly stop traffic and save lives before the tragedy were honored as heroes at the O's season opener today.